The book Treasure Island, Chapter 4, named What I Heard in the Apple Barrel. A few leagues from Bristol, we ran into some squalls and some heavy weather, but this only confirmed the seaworthiness of the Hispaniola. We continued to voyage, and every man on board the ship appeared to be cheerful. The old sea cook, John Silver, he cooked up delicious grub, and the men were given generous portions of food. Squire Trenley had even purchased a large barrel of apples. So any one of us could help ourselves whenever we felt the urge. Captain Smollett disapproved of the apple barrel. He said, "No good ever came from that sort of thing," he said to the doctor. Some good did come from the apple barrel, though, and I will tell you how it all came about. It was the last day of our outward voyage. After sundown, when my work was done and I was on my way to my berth, it occurred to me I would like an apple. So I went to the barrel and I found that there were only a few left. So I had to climb into the barrel to get one. While I was sitting in the barrel, comparing the quality of two apples, several members of the crew arrived. And they were talking. And before I heard a dozen words, my mood changed to fear and anxiety. You see, the conversation revealed that the lives of all the honest men aboard the Hispaniola depended on me. "No, not I," said Silver. "Flint was captain, and I was part of the crew. I lost my leg on that voyage, and old Pew lost his eyes, but I got my hands on some money, and it's all money is safe in the bank. You see, boys, it's not earning that does it. It's saving." Another seaman said something, but I couldn't hear it. "Look here, mate," Silver said in reply. "You're young, but you're as smart as paint, and I'll talk to you like a man." You can imagine how I felt when I heard those words. Smart as paint. That is what Silver had said about me that day in Bristol. In fact, those are the exact words. I wanted to pounce on him, but he was unaware that I was listening, and he continued to speak. "Gentlemen of fortune live rough, and they risk death every day," Silver explained. "But when a cruise is done, they have money in their pockets. Most spend it carelessly, but that's not the course for me. I put it all away. I am 50 years old now. Once I get back from the cruise, I will set myself up as a gentleman. My missus has gathered up all my money. She sold the spyglass by now, and I will meet with her when I return." "Well," said the man named Dick, "I didn't like this job until I talked with you. But now things are starting to look up. Here's my hand on it, John." "A brave lad you are," Silver answered, "and smart, too." By this time, I understood what was happening. Gentlemen of fortune, Silver means pirates. And Silver had just convinced another one of the honest men to join the mutiny that he was planning. Silver gave a little whistle, and a third man joined. "Dick Square," said Silver to the newcomer. "I knew he was no fool," said the other. "But here's what I want to know, Barbecue. When are we going to strike?" I've had enough of Captain Smollett. You listen, Israel, said Silver. Keep your eyes peeled until I give the order. I concluded the new arrival must be Israel Hands. I don't say no, Hands growled, but I say when. At the last possible moment, that's when, replied Silver. We've got the first-rate captain sailing the ship for us, and the squire and the doctor have Flint's map. We'll let them find the treasure and haul it on the board, and then we will strike. What will we do with them? Asked Dick. Well, said Silver, we could leave them on the island marooned, or we could cut them down. Now that's what Flint would have done, and Billy Bones too. Billy was the man for that, added Hands. Dead man don't bite. That's what he used to say. If ever a rough man came to port, it was Billy Bones. Rough and ready, said Silver. And on this point, I agree with him. When I am a rich man, back in England and riding in my coach, I don't want those men coming home. We'll wait, but when the time comes, let her rip. So I claim Trenely. Dick, stop talking suddenly. Jump up like a sweet lad and get me an apple to wet my pipe. An apple from the barrel? I heard Dick getting up. I figured I was good as dead. But then Hans said, "Nah, let's have something to drink instead." So Dick went to fetch the drinks, and Hans and Silver continued talking. That's the last of them, Hans said. None of the others are going to join us. Hearing that lifted my spirits, because it meant there were at least a few faithful men on board. When Dick returned, he and the others drank a series of toasts. "Here's to luck," said Dick. "And here's to old Flint," said Hans. Just then, the lookup in the crow's nest and said, "Land ahoy!" This was followed by a great rush of shuffling feet as the mutineers sprinted away. I waited a few seconds. Then I slipped out of the apple barrel and followed them. As we drew near the island, Captain Smollett called out, "Men, have any of you ever seen the island ahead?" "I have, sir," said Silver. "Once when I was a ship's cook, we stopped there for fresh water. The name is Skeleton Island, they calls it. It was the main hideout for pirates. There are 3 hills on it. The big one, the one in the middle there, with the top in the clouds, that's called Spyglass, because that's the perfect place to post a lookout. "I have a map here," said the captain. "Have a look and see if this is the place." John Silver's eyes burned with intensity as he looked at the map. But I could tell it was not the map that was found in Billy Bones' chest. It was a copy that did not show the location of Flint's treasure. Silver carefully concealed his disappointment. "Yes, sir," he said. "This is the spot, and I believe the best anchorage is right over there in this little cove." I was surprised at the coolness with which Silver declared his knowledge of the island. I had, by this time, such a fear of his duplicity that I could scarcely conceal a shudder when he called out, "Ahoy there, Jim!" And he laid his hand on my shoulder. "This island is a sweet spot for a lad," Silver said. "When you want to do a bit of exploring, just ask old John, and I'll fix up a snack for you to take with you." After Silver hobbled off, I met with the captain, the doctor, and Squire. I told them everything I had heard. Everyone sat quietly for a few moments until at last the The squire broke the silence. "Captain," he said, "I believe I owe you an apology. You were right. I was wrong." "Well," says Captain, "I accept your apology, but now I must present to you my opinion of our current predicament. I see 3 or 4 important points for our consideration. First, we can't turn back. If I gave to go back, Silver and the others would mutiny at once. Second, we have a little bit of time, at least until the treasure is found. Third, we will come to blows sooner or later. What I propose is that we choose the time to fight when they least expect it. I take it we can count on your servants, Hunter, Joyce, and Redruth, Mr. Trelawney?" "And myself," declared the squire. "Well, that's 3 honest men," said the captain. "Ourselves make 7, counting Hawkins here. Now, what about the others?" "I fancy we can also count on the men that Trelawney hired," said the doctor. "I mean, the men he found by himself before Silver intervened." "No." "Nay," replied the squire. Hands was mine. "Well, gentlemen," said the captain, "we must determine who can be trusted." I felt helpless. There was only 7 from 26 who were known to be good. Good 7. Bad 19. All 26. There's only 7 out of 26 who were known to be good. And one of those was me, a young boy. Silver helped the captain guide the Hispaniola to the best anchorage. He knew the passage like the palm of his hand, and he never hesitated once. Still, there were problems. Discipline had begun to break down. The men were now unfriendly and not willing to take orders. They seemed to be on the verge of mutiny. Only Silver showed a willingness to obey. When an order was given, he was on his crutch in an instant with a cheery, "Aye, aye, sir." And when there was nothing else to do, he sang old sea songs. The captain called a meeting with our group in his cabin. "Gentlemen," he said, "we're in a real pickle here. I believe that if I continue to command this ship, the men will mutiny. And if I don't, Silver will know that something is up. I believe there's only one thing to do." "What's that?" inquired the squire. "Leave things to Silver," the captain replied. "He's as anxious as we are to cover things up. He doesn't want the men to mutiny, at least not yet. And I say we give him a chance to talk them out of it. Let's allow the men to go ashore if they want. Then Silver can talk with them and get them under his control. If they go, you mark my words, Silver will get them back in line. He will bring them on board again, as mild as lambs." We all agreed this was the best plan. So loaded pistols were served to all the men. The squire's men, Hunter, Joyce, and Redruth, were taken into our confidence and received the news with less surprise and were better spirits than we anticipated. After the meeting, the captain went on deck and addressed the crew. "Lads," said he, "it's hot and we are all tired. As many of you would like may go ashore for the afternoon. Take the landing boats, and I will fire a gun to call you back just before sundown." The men must have thought they would trip over treasure as soon as they landed, for their spirits seemed to be lifted in a moment, and they all gave a cheer. "Hey, hey, woohoo!" The captain whipped out of sight, leaving Silver to arrange the landing party. In a few minutes, the landing party was assembled. Six of the men stay aboard. The remaining men, including Silver, went ashore. I thought about the numbers. If Silver was leaving 6 men on the Hispaniola, it was plain that our party could not take over the ship. But at the same time, if he was leaving only 6 men, those men would not pose too much of a danger to the loyal hands. The captain and the others would be safe, and they would not need my help. I thought it might be more useful for me to go ashore. So without debating the question anymore, I slipped over the side and curled up in the front of the nearest boat. No one in the boat took any notice of me. And when we reached the island, the men wandered off, and I came out from my hiding place and began to explore the land.